you want to laugh and have some fun, this is the podcast. This is the one. Lights, camera, action, on your mark, set, go. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Oh, yes. Yes. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. This is a podcast that I am going to talk about everything under the sun from A to Z and back again. You never honestly, you just don't know what is going to come out of my mouth. I'm very unpredictable, and I say what I think, and I say what I feel. So it is truly honesty here, and on that, I want to get on people who are oversensitive. The type of people that you can't even put something like, I enjoyed my salad today. How dare you like salad? What's wrong with you? What about the earth? You ever think about the earth? Like, there are people out there, you can't put anything positive out there because they're always going to shoot negative. And you know what? That's okay. They have a right to their opinion and a right to their feelings. But to me, I'm a bit more old school. I'm not as sensitive. I like to think I have a little thicker of a skin than a lot of people maybe nowadays might have, you know what I mean? People seem to get upset with each other quicker and offended easier. So if you're one of those people, you probably don't want to listen to this podcast. If you have a stick up your ass and you know it, you know who you are. I don't know who you are because I really honestly don't know anybody who's got a stick up their ass. All my friends and family are cool. And I'm so thankful for that, man. Oh, I am thankful for that. But I see people out there that got the stick right up their ass. And, that's their own thing. That just means they got some stuff they're trying to work through. You know what I mean? They got some stuff going on in their life that they just they're at the limit with certain shit that might be going on with themselves, that somebody says one little tiny thing that wouldn't offend most of us, that offends the shit out of them, maybe because they're already at their limit with everything else, and anything will trigger them. Like the saying is, like, you never know what somebody else is going through, sort of thing. So I'm understanding of you if you are oversensitive. That's, you do you, and I wish you well. But don't listen to this podcast because it's just going to, offend you and probably bug the shit out of you. So there you go. And on to the first thing I'd like to talk about. People lie on dating apps. Okay, I know most of you know this, but I'm going to share a story. All right? A while ago, I went on a blind date with somebody that I met through the internet and talked to him for like a week and a half on the phone. Seemed like a really cool guy. This is years ago, by the way. It was, when I say a while, I mean it was years ago. But you don't forget this kind of stuff. I go on a date with this guy. He was cute. He was nice. He told me he had a daughter. And to me, you tell me you have a daughter and you talk all nice about her, I think you're going to be respectful to women and, you're a cool guy and all this. So I go to meet him out at a restaurant, and we're sitting at the bar and having a cocktail. It was actually Margaritaville in Orlando at the time. And I met up with him there, and we were having a cocktail, and halfway into his drink, I look over. I swear this is just how it happened. I look over at the guy, and he's crying in his drink. Crying, weeping. Like that kind of, I'm like, what just happened? I look at him, I'm like, are you okay? I put my hand on his back because we were just having literally great conversation. He started talking about his daughter, and I leaned over to get my cocktail and give it a spin with my fancy little spinny, and I look over and he's weeping in his drink. And I mean, like, in his drink weeping. Instant boogers down the face. It was just it wasn't a pretty sight. Okay, I look over and it was like, bam, crying, boogers in his drink, like like that. Okay, if you're watching this, you got to get the visual of that, but it was like that. I looked over, I'm like, man, are you okay? What happened? Oh, I really miss my girl. My girl's at home with my kid, and we've been fighting a lot. I'm like, so you're still with your girl that has your child? He said, yeah, I'm sorry, I lied to you. And where I should have punched this guy straight in the face for something like that, I just looked at him, and I remember this. I said, and I bought earrings that day and a necklace that matches. It's cute. Maybe another podcast I'll wear it, and I'll tell you this is the earrings and necklace that I got that day. Afterward, I went shopping, but I told him, I said, I really think you should go ahead and go home to your girl right now. And he just went, oh, wait, let me do it for you. He went, oh. Okay. And he left. And the bartender, by the way, who was really hot, started laughing in my face about what just happened. Because he watched the whole thing. He was dying. But, yeah, he gave me his number. He didn't even ask. That's slick. Not even asking for their number and just giving them yours. That's pretty slick. But yeah, that was my first blind date. And after that blind date, it was years before I went on another blind date. And before I went on the second blind date, I told a lot of my friends there's no way I would ever go on another blind date because what happened the first time, right? And I always said that. I'm not going on another blind date. No, thank you, right? If I'm supposed to meet somebody, I'm just going to meet them. That's it, right? And all of a sudden, I started talking to somebody on the computer online, and started talking to him on the phone for like about a week. Got a feel for him. Seemed like a cool guy. We clicked. We had a lot in common. Seemed cool. Everything else. Let me include that he told me he was 5'9". I'm 5'4", and I was wearing heels that night, and the heels were probably about, I don't know, an inch and a half, something like that. So let's call me 5'6", right? Even though that's taller than what I was even in my heels. But let's say I was 5'6" with my heels on, okay? This guy comes up, walking up in the parking lot, 5'2", if. Like, I'm being kind by saying 5'2". And when I see him walking up, because we texted each other, I'm here. Oh, I'm here too. Okay, well, I'll meet you at the front door. And I hear a car door close, and I see him walking up, and I'm like, that's him. So I get out of the car, and I start walking up, and I'm like, hey. And the street light is behind him, and I just see him getting shorter and shorter as he walks up closer and closer. And I didn't think it was real. At that point, I thought it was a joke. So I start yelling in the parking lot, okay, you guys, you could come out now. It's not funny. Joke's over. You could come out now. Joke's over, not funny. And he starts looking over his shoulder like, who are you talking to? Looking at me like I'm crazy. And he keeps walking towards me, getting shorter and shorter, by the way, still. And I just start muttering, oh my God, this is real. This is real. This is real. And he gets up to my face, and he's got his arms out for a hug. He's like, oh, you give me a hug? And I'm like, you do realize you have a hole in your pants right at your crotch. I could see your red underwear. That's another reason. Not just his height. He came walking up to me with a hole in his crotch with bright red underwear on his crotch walking up to me. So there's no way I thought this was real. I thought this was a joke my friends was playing on me. And it wasn't. So I made the guy untuck his shirt, and we went in the restaurant. Because I felt bad. I was like, okay, obviously he lied about his height because he's insecure about it. He was cool on the phone, even though he lied to me and prejudged that I wouldn't have gone out with him if he was honest with me about his height. So he kind of judged that maybe he thought I was going to be shallow because of that. Because he was so insecure about his height, he lied about it. That's what I think happens with a lot of people online. I think a lot of people online lie about things because of their insecurities, and it's one thing to use filters and have fun with pictures and stuff like that. That's fun. That's fun to play with. But it's another thing to put that kind of thing on a dating site where you look different. You look a little different now. And you want to look how you look if you're trying to meet somebody, not because it's a shallow thing, but because You want to say, this is who I am, this is how I look, the two together, you know? But anyway, so he untucked his shirt and we go sit down and we order a drink and we're sitting there. And he says to me, the last date I was on, I met the girl online as well. I said, oh, that's okay. How'd that go? He says, yeah, well, it went really well. We had a nice dinner. I went back to her place. We had sex. And the next day, the cops are at my door, banging on my door because she accused me of raping her. I said, I'm really sorry to hear that, but I'm uncomfortable sitting across from you now because even if you were innocent in something like that, that's not something you bring up on a first date with someone you met through the internet. Why would you bring that up? Listen, hey. Oh, actually, I did threaten him. That's right. I did threaten him. That's right. Yup. Sure did. I told him, I said, I'm feeling uncomfortable. I said, regardless of this and that, I said, now I feel uncomfortable sitting across from you. I really did say this. I said, I'm going to get up now. And if you follow me out to the parking lot, I'm going to fuck you up. I forgot about that part. I said that to him, and boy, I tell you, really, I can remember it now. His face turned white when I said that because I meant it. Oh, I meant it. Like, you're not going to tell him, even if he's, didn't do anything wrong and she was just somebody who was messed up to accuse somebody that didn't do something horrible like that. Either way, you don't say something like that on a first date. That's disgusting. Either way, that's a disgusting topic and thing to talk about. And creepy, super creeped out. But I remember threatening him. I tell you, it took everything I had not to knock that guy right off his ass. I could see me throat punching him. Yeah, I could. But I didn't. I just let him know, don't follow me out. Because if you do, I swore, I said, if you follow me out, I'm going to fuck you up. And I went back out to the parking lot, went in my car, locked my doors, and took the hell off. And then it was years after that where I had my last one. And my last one, the last one. And these are years in between each other, okay? Hold on, let me wet my whistle. My last blind date was a good-looking man. He has a good job for himself. His colleagues have nice things to say about him, right? I go to meet up with this man. Grown man, by the way, okay? Grown man. I go to meet up with him to go out for dinner, and he's already at the front door waiting, which I like that. He wasn't like inside sitting at the bar. I don't know what I don't know. It felt nice that he was standing outside waiting for me to walk in with me. I liked that. I thought that was cool. But that was the one good thing, because I go to meet up with him. He looks sharp. He's dressed nicely. Puts his arms out to give me a hug. He's like, can I give you a hug? I said, sure. And I go to give him a hug, and he licks my face. Did you hear what I just said? He licked my face from my bottom of my chin all the way up, like a 5-year-old would do to try to gross you out. That's what this guy did. He just went up my face, and I just froze in disgust. Because what the fuck just happened? Like, what? A handsome, well-to-do, people speak nicely of him. I mean, what? And he already knew what I looked like. He asked me out. So, I mean, we knew what each other looked like already. We met each other once before, and then we were going out. So that wasn't really a blind date, but the last time I went on a date, the guy licked my face. And I said to him after he licked my face, because you're probably wondering, well, what did you say when somebody does something like that? Did you throat punch him? No, that wasn't even a feeling of throat punching. That was a feeling of frozen in disgust. Like I just stood there like in shock and disgust. My face was just like licked up. And I just looked at, I said, that was not a hug. Because he just asked, could I give you a hug? Hello. I open my arms to give him a hug and he licks my face. I said, that wasn't a hug. And he backs up. He gives me a dirty look. And he goes, yeah, well, that was going to be a kiss, but, you moved. And I laughed. I laughed in his face. I said, that was going to be a kiss? Oh, and I actually went, oh. Oh, my God. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my God. We went inside, and I look back now like, why did I even go inside with these people? Because I don't want to feel like I'm a jerk if somebody does one little thing wrong. I mean, that's not little, though, licking my face. But, you don't want to feel like you're this jerk or something. Like, oh, your clothes got ripped or, whatever. You're shorter than you said. Or you still want to give people a chance and an opportunity to be like, okay, let's forget about that and let's move on. And, man... No, I learned no, you can't do that. I went inside with this guy and he couldn't stop hitting on the bartender. And he decided, let's sit at the bar to eat dinner. Yeah, let's do that on a date. You go out with your boys and do that, or your friends. And sit at the bar and eat and chat and include the bartender in the chit chat. And that's good times. That is good times. But you don't do that on a date. Okay? You don't bring your date and say, let's sit at the bar and eat. Why? Because she needs to prove how cool and laid back she is? Bro, I am cool and I'm laid back, but if I'm on a date, first of all, I want to sit across from you so I can see your face. Okay? Oh, God, those people that sit in a booth sitting next to each other. What is that? Why do you want to sit next to each other? Are you trying to give them a hand job under the table? Because if that's the case, I understand. If you're trying to do a little fiddle faddle with your finger and your hands and whatever you're doing with your mayonnaise, or hey, that's your business. Okay? That's acceptable if that's what you're doing. If you're doing a little twiddle twat and a little squishy squash, whatever you want to call it. If you're doing some hand jive under the table, that's one thing. All right? That's fine if you want to canoodle like that. I don't know if that's canoodling. That's a little more than canoodling. But if that's what you're sitting next to each other for, that's fine. But other than that, dude, that bothers me when I see people sitting like next to each other and there's an empty thing across from them. It's like I'm waiting for the other people to arrive or something. I look over and I'm like, you can't even look at each other. Like, I don't know. Communication to me, there should be eye contact, when not like staring at each other like, don't blink, give me eye contact every time I have something to say. No, bro, but every once in a while to see each other's facial expressions. I don't want to look over at somebody every time I'm trying to talk to them. That's ridiculous. Anyway, that's that. That's what I had to say about that. And I have a little list on my phone here. Oh yeah, are we killing chivalry with how people, a lot of people feel like, oh, I could open my own door. I'm independent. I don't need this. I don't need that. And that's great. But are we killing chivalry? Are we making it so that, I'll say men feel uncomfortable to open the door for you? I mean, I don't know. It also, I guess that depends on how they were raised too, right? That would depend on how somebody was raised. If they were raised to open the door for a woman, And by the way, opening a door for your significant other does not mean that you're bowing down and, oh, yes, sire, yes, your majesty, let me open the door for you. That's not what it is. If you look it up, opening the door actually started along with when, back in the day, if a man and a woman were walking down the street, the man would walk on the side of the street so that if a car were to get out of control or something, he would be able to protect her. That's what they would do back in the day. They would walk down the street like that, and they would let their significant other in the car first because it was a safety thing. It was like, if I let you in the car, I know you're in the car, I walk around while you're unlocking my door. You know how nowadays, I mean, some people should have heard this by now, that if you open the door for a woman, that if she should definitely have already unlocked your door and possibly have kind of opened it and pushed it a little open for you. If she does, she's a keeper. If she doesn't, she's not. That's silly. Okay, she might just not know that she should have done that for you. She might think you unlocked your door for yourself. She might have think that you pressed the button. Me, I will always try to lean over and unlock a door, and now I would try to press a button unlock or something. If I could reach over, I'll try to open the door and push it for him. The whole thing is safety. It's not about I'm kissing someone's ass because I'm opening their door and, oh yeah, she got you whipped or he got you whipped or whatever. That's not, it's about safety, getting the person in the car, closing the door and getting on the other side. But I just, that's not, that is chivalry too. It came from a form of safety, but it is chivalry as well. Where, if you're walking into a store and you see a lady walking, will you hold the door open for her and let her walk ahead of you, or will you just hold the door open behind you so she can grab the door? Now, back in the day, they would not like, they would have held the door open so the women could go in first. But nowadays, you will get women and men who, you'll get people in general that will get offended. Again, oversensitive people. You'll get people that are offended, by you opening a door for them and trying to help them out, or just being, respectful of someone. And some people will take it not as a sign of respect. Some people will take it like, oh, what do you think? I couldn't do that myself. I know you could do it yourself. I was just trying to be respectful of you. That's it, But anyway, another one that I'd like to talk about real quick before I end this episode. This is my very first one, and I'm super stoked about it. And oh yeah, if you have any ideas or any topics you'd like me to talk about, let me know. Hit me up for sure. You can find me wherever you're finding me right now. Obviously, if you're listening or you're watching, right? Obviously. But you could find me on Anchor and Spotify, Instagram and YouTube at The Suezie Show. All of it is The Suezie Show. And Suezie is spelled Suezie. The Suezie Show. I just want to make sure that I put that out there. But again, if you guys are watching or listening, you found me somehow. So that's cool. You found me. That's awesome. I'm glad you did. The last thing, that I'm going to talk about before I end this is any publicity good publicity? Some people would say yes. Some people will say any publicity is good publicity, okay? Even if you're a jerk or you did something crazy and it brings all this attention to you that we're in a hotel and you had this crazy party and 3 of your friends jumped into the pool and threw all the TV or whatever, right? Something that you think yourself might sound cool, but it's still kind of bad publicity. And, I think there's a different type of bad publicity, actually, now that I'm talking about it. I think that you could have bad publicity in a twisty, good way if you're like a rock star. And they're talking about how you trashed a hotel or how you were caught doing this You're a rock star. You're supposed to live this rock star life. You know what I mean? We kind of expect that wildness from you. That little bad boy, the bad girl, that bad attitude. We kind of expect that. So that is kind of bad publicity, but it's good because of the genre that you're in and what you do. It could work, for some people, right? But there's also bad publicity where you said something really nasty, right? That's like way inappropriate. If you're a big enough star, you say something messed up, way inappropriate, way. Like, not oversensitive people, like just regular normal people would be like, oh, damn, I can't believe he said that shit, right? Or it, like, kind of ruins your name, right? A little bit. But you're all over the place. People are making memes of you and everything. Oh, to publicity, that's free publicity. Yeah, but it's bad publicity. And me, I would not want bad publicity. Okay? I mean, I'm going to talk about all sorts of things. I'm going to talk about, how people will joke about how women's vaginas stink, but they don't joke about how men's dicks stink. Okay? Men's dicks can stink too, people. Okay? It's just a fact of life. Or we're going to get into that another time. But see, I'm going to talk about things like that. A million different things on this. But the point is, I lost the point because I started thinking about stinky dick. So the point is lost. But, I mean, we're going to be talking about everything on this. So, but sensitive people, even normal people, right? That wouldn't be there I was. That's what I was saying. People who wouldn't be, like, oh my God, I can't believe she just said stinky pussy and stinky dick. Oh my God, well, I never. Oh, shut up, right? Normal people that are like, okay, they might even laugh at it and think, okay, wow, that is kind of funny, right? Whatever. But there are certain things that would make normal, everyday people be like, oh, damn, I can't believe they said that. That's not the kind of shit you're going to hear on this podcast. You're going to hear some crazy shit. You're going to hear from A to Z and all different kinds of topics and different kinds of things. And I hope I entertain the living shit out of you, but there are certain things that you just are not going to hear coming out of this podcast. But there are lots and lots of other things that you will be hearing out of this podcast. So I hope you all had a good time. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed doing it and making my little intro song and the little ditties. That was fun making them. And I guess that's about it for this time. Okay, I had a great time putting this together. The next one's gonna be much better because I'm getting the swing of things and I'm getting into it and I'm feeling more and more comfortable. Hopefully you could tell I was feeling more comfortable with it. I flipped the camera around, so I just made sure that the camera was like where it needed to be, that it would see me. But then I left it where I can't see myself, which works. That is much better. But I could promise you more and more episodes that I do, the better and better it's just going to get. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you checking me out. And if you're still with me, don't forget to subscribe and do all the stuff that you do on the interwebs so that you don't so that you don't miss my next episode. I hope you all are staying safe. Nothing but love. Yeah. Thanks for listening and hanging out. I'll see you next time, without a doubt. Now you know where I am and you know where to go. See you next time on the Suezie Show. See you next time on the Suezie Show.